Hello and welcome to the Visionary Leaders Community Call. My name is Erin Fugate and I am so happy that you are joining us today, whether you're live on Zoom or you're listening on Facebook, or maybe you're hearing the recording on our podcast or YouTube. You are welcome here and we're so happy that you carved out the time for today. So this call happens every Monday at 10 a.m. It is a collaborative effort by the Visionary Leaders Collective. And we talk about different subjects related to our health, always bringing in the doTERRA essential oils and supplements. And we also talk about sharing doTERRA and how to get your products paid for and even earn some extra income. Today, we have a special guest. Sandra Freeman is going to be teaching us all about the pineal gland and the many wonderful things it can do for our body, and also how essential oils and the other doTERRA products help the pineal gland. Before we jump into that presentation, I have a couple of announcements. First of all, convention, Salt Lake City, who's coming, who got your tickets. What I hear is that it's really going to be focused for the customer that's totally obsessed in doTERRA and wants to share. So this is your invitation to think about all those people in your doTERRA world that order every month and they absolutely love doTERRA, even if they're not building the doTERRA business. Even if you're listening right now and you're like, oh, I don't build a doTERRA business, so I shouldn't go to convention. This is the year that we pile everyone in our car. We rent a big Airbnb and we bring all our raving customers, all those customers that have been ordering forever. I have customers that have been ordering every month at least $100 for 14 years. To me, that's just astounding and amazing. I mean, I do that myself, but some would argue, well, you get a commission because it's your job. And so of course you order, you have to have the product. And I would still order even if I didn't have a commission, but these are people who don't make a dollar from doTERRA. They just love the product so much. So this is all of us who are on this call to kind of take that as inspiration to go through our back office and make a list of those. I call them VIP customers, loyal customers, essential oil superstars, and make a powerful invitation to them. I am not talking about a like cut and paste text message or an email. I'm talking about a telephone call where you really invite them strongly to come to convention and deepen their understanding of doTERRA and what it's all about. And sometimes you can make that easier for them by organizing lodging, maybe driving together, stuff like that. So put it in the comments if you are coming to convention and if you are bringing people. We want to know. And of course, we will have our Visionary Leaders community party at convention, which is so fun. And so that's the number one reason to go, of course, to see all the visionary leaders. Now, my other announcement is, it's an announcement, but it's also a big ask of everyone. As you know, maybe you don't know, and this is your first time hearing about it, but doTERRA has a nonprofit organization called Healing Hands. And they do beautiful work all over the world. They give away so much money. They lift up people in every country. And they have an aspect to Healing Hands, which you should know about. And it is the matching grant program. So you, as a doTERRA customer or wellness advocate, you can partner with a diamond and you can apply to get a matching grant for your own favorite nonprofit. So if you have a nonprofit that you are passionate about and you want to raise awareness around and raise money for, you can go and apply for this. And it's really easy. I have done many of them, and I am embarking on my second round with an organization called Ride My Road, which is an anti-human trafficking organization. They have an online course called Disruptors University where you can go and learn all the nuances of human trafficking and really find out the truth and how you can be of service. And so I'm in the midst of fundraising. We have a big event coming up here in Southern Oregon. And what I need help with is tomorrow, Tuesday, May 9th, I have a podcast episode coming out on Jasmine and Juniper, the podcast. That's my personal podcast. I interview Lauren Trantham, who is the founder of Ride My Road. And this episode is so important for everyone to listen to, especially if you are a parent or an auntie or someone who cares about children. Now, human trafficking isn't just kids in cages. Human trafficking can be labor trafficking. There's so many aspects to it. But when you're a mother of young girls, like I am, or grandmother of young girls, or an auntie, I know that sometimes the human trafficking can have an extra tender spot. So you're going to want to listen to this episode because it gives you a lot of education and a lot of ideas of what you can do to help. So I am gathering a street team together. What I would like you all to do, if you're willing, is tomorrow morning when the episode comes out, would you share it with at least 3 people? I have a Facebook group where the whole street team is gathered, which you can join it if you want to. I'll be posting the podcast episode and swipe copy in case you don't know what to say. But my goal is for it to be the most downloaded episode I've ever had. And I've got about 40 people in that group right now. So if I have 40 people share with 3 friends, then they share with 3 friends. We all know how network marketing works, right? I think I can reach thousands and thousands of people with this message. And every donation that is made, whether it's $10, $100, or $1,000, Healing Hands is matching. So we have the opportunity to raise a lot of money over the next 20 days for the anti-human trafficking movement. And I would so appreciate your help. I'll put the links in the comment so you can come and participate. And now I'm going to turn it over to Sandra Freeman. So Sandra Freeman is a masterful energy worker and teacher. She has a long, long history of being a hands-on body worker, but also teaching energy medicine, and she is a part of our team. So we are so lucky to have her. And in the last few years, I have watched Sandra dive very deep into the pineal gland. So last week when we were talking about the brain, I thought, you know what? Sandra needs to come on and give us her deep dive into everything the pineal gland can do and all the ways that we can help support it. So I'm going to turn the mic over to you, Sandra.
Thank you, Erin. It's such an honor to be asked to do this. Thank you so much. I'm gonna get screen sharing is disabled. Okay, so.
Let me see if I can fix that real quick.
Oh gosh.
I have to make you host. That's gonna be frustrating. I thought there was a way for you to be able to, does anybody know how I can allow her to share her screen without making her host? I really thought it was just a simple thing.
I think it is a simple thing, but I don't know how to do it.
She should go down to participants and click on her name.
Yeah, and the only option it gives me is to make her a host.
Under participants?
Yeah, I go to participants. Sorry, everyone. I thought this was so much simpler. Yeah, okay, well, I'm gonna have to make you host.
What is that gonna mess up?
Just if people want to come in, you have to approve them into the waiting room.
Oh,
waiting room.
You can't make multiple people a host?
Let's see what happens if I make you a host.
Okay.
You're the host now, but I'm not a host. Okay, but I can always reclaim it. So just go for it. We'll roll with it.
This is weird. I mean, it's not that weird. I can't find my. Okay, just hang on, you guys. I can't find the right thing. I'm gonna have to minimize this for a second.
And in the meantime, if you do share your screen and then try hitting participant and then clicking on her name, it should work.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are you guys now seeing a Canva?
No, we don't see anything.
Oh my gosh, okay. Why is this happening? This is so funny.
Darn it.
Okay, so let me go back to,
Also, people on the podcast.
I see why this
no
happened.
matter
Okay.
what.
Okay, cool. So I got this now.
Okay, will you remember, Sandra, that the podcast can't see your slides, so kind of talk out what's on your slides too.
Oh, okay. That adds another layer of,
On YouTube, people can see the slides, but a lot of people listen on the podcast. So if you just kind of tell them, if we can put your slides in the email so they have it, but it's nice when we have slides if we kind of are aware of those people not seeing the screen.
okay, so I'll do my best. This first slide that I made has to do with setting the tone for, I would say, the deeper mysteries around this, but also because I'm so passionate about energy work and awareness of energy and how that affects our daily existence, how that can enhance our daily existence. I just want to set the tone with this quote from Tesla. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And that is like meaning, practice to gain mastery of these aspects of our life, whether it's medicine, the oils, communicating with animals, communicating with plants, communicating with other people, cultivating that awareness can be very valuable. So that's why I brought this up. And here is my intention for the webinar, is to talk about the bridge between what science says and also the wisdom of many disciplines that successfully work with the energy field and work with the pineal gland to bring about balance and healing. So to find that bridge for ourselves today, or part of the bridge, to honor intuition and inner knowing, to learn new things and have fun, and for all of us to discuss essential oils in this context. So this is a focus on the pineal gland, and there's so much that I've learned in the last couple of years that it would fill up easily 3 hours of webinar material. So I really had to choose where we're going today and hopefully get it in and discussion. My tendency is to want to really geek out on anatomy, and I could spend the whole time on all the scientific anatomical stuff because I find it really exciting, and I'm going to tone that down today. So just some general information about the pineal gland. It's really tiny. It's the size of a pea. And it's located in the very center of the brain. And you see, whoops, my mouse is so sensitive. You see right here, this is the pineal gland on the side view of the head. It is distinct from other parts of the brain. So all the other parts of the brain are in pairs. They're symmetrical or they're paired. Pineal gland is not paired, and it's also not inside the blood-brain barrier. Everything else is. It plays a significant role in regulating sleep, and this is what most people know about it, is that it produces melatonin. And I'll talk about that, I think, a little bit more, but it's also vitally important for hormone regulation. And I do want to say, I have to make this point. It's also considered to be the most highly calcified and desensitized organ in the body due to generations of toxic living. So what I want to say about this too, while we're still on this slide where we're just focused on, okay, what is the pineal gland? This was the last of the endocrine glands to be discovered. There's a lot that is not known about it. It's also was difficult to study because it's deep to the center of the brain and it's tiny. I tried repeatedly to get a definitive answer as to what does calcification mean and what does it look like. And I have to say that I don't know, because some sources, and these are things like the National Institutes of Health, PubMed, and so on, scientific articles, they don't agree on what calcified means. And so what we do know, because the pineal gland is so regularly inundated by blood, second only to the kidneys, this is why it's susceptible to toxins. It's not in the blood-brain barrier. It's not inside of that. And it's incredibly subject to toxicity. To really get a feeling for this over the couple of years that I've been really trying to present and understand more, I definitely loved what science had to say, to really find something that I could share that would give us practices and give us a more holistic picture. I had to look at other disciplines, and I'm still finding them. I found really cool biohacking stuff that had really great pineal gland information last night. It was too late to make a slide. So to talk about the science a little bit, it was believed for a very, very long time that there was no lymphatic system in the brain. It was, the dates vary, but sometime around 2013 to 2016, depending on what source you look at, it was discovered that there actually is a system for cleansing the brain. And this is really important for the pineal as well as the rest of the brain. So it's called the lymphatic system. And this chart, which I really like, talks about what goes on. There's a cycle that happens, and this happens when we sleep. So I want to plant this idea right now that we all, as doTERRA customers and doTERRA wellness advocates, would do well to connect the dots here about what it is we have that supports sleep and how it varies from individual to individual. There's lifestyle recommendations. There's also what we individually, if we've had sleep issues, use to help us get a good night's sleep. So, okay, just saying, just be thinking about this when I talk about this. So what's happening at night when we're asleep? So first of all, if it's nighttime and we're not asleep, it's not going to support this cleansing process. So there are certain brain cells that perform autophagy, which means it helps damaged and diseased debris to leave. Autophagy is, I believe, like the dying cells and debris are being engulfed by these glial cells. They're called like housekeeper cells. That's why there's a little broom icon in this picture. And then, so they sweep in and scavenge the waste. Actually, I have this wrong. Somebody needs to help me out. Autophagy is when a cell dies because it's ready to die. Is that correct? No one's gonna, I'm kind of stumbling over the autophagy right now, but the point is that we have debris, and the brain has cells that can sweep it, clean it out. And whoops, how did that happen?
It's just me. Can you reshare? You should be able to share now.
It says it's disabled.
Okay, never mind. I was just trying to be able to let people in.
Oh, I missed the yeah. I let the first person in that I saw.
Okay, you can go back. Sorry.
Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. I'm just stumbling over the autophagy right now. I don't want it to ruin this presentation, but I'm like, okay. So the lymphatic system, so it's different than our lymphatic vessels that are outside of the brain, but they're doing the same function. They're able to flush out toxic fluid and waste from inside our brain tissues. The pathways are part of a layer of the dura, and then clean cerebrospinal fluid replaces the dirty fluid. And then these same vessels surrounding the brain deliver the waste to our lymphatic system, which rids the body of toxins, waste, and other unwanted materials. So what I want to say about this also is that this is something we can enhance ourselves. So let's see. I'll just go to the slide. What I learned recently is that if we regularly do lymphatic drainage of the head, which once I learned how to do it, takes a few minutes, and you do it before bed, it's going to really enhance not only your sleep, but it's going to enhance this function in the brain of getting rid of metabolic waste. So I have this these slides backwards. So I want to talk about lifestyle things. I'm going to make this fairly quick. There are many, many versions of what you can do to support the pineal gland. And remember I said that it's susceptible to toxins. And I also want to say that as a practitioner over the years, and I've worked with people since my early 20s, and I'm now going to be 72 this year, that I've seen increasingly over the last 10 years, at least, more and more people shut down as far as what the pineal gland is about. They're not accessing their intuitive awareness. They don't feel in touch with their creativity. I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying I'm seeing more and more and more of it. And there are reasons for that. And the focus right now with these couple slides is to talk about what we can do to support it holistically. And again, be thinking about, and I'm not watching the chat, and I feel like I should be, because I want everyone to think about what we already have that is going to help the brain and the pineal gland. I got this one, Erin, I saw it. So avoiding fluoride is the thing you will always see. If you Google, if you look online, that's the thing everybody sees. Because that's a very, there's a lot around this. And there's fluoride in toothpaste, and there's fluoride in water. And this is the thing you will hear about the most. Getting a water filter is a great idea for many, many reasons. And because hydration, which isn't on this list, is one of the ways to improve the health of your pineal gland. Adequate hydration. So clean up your diet means avoiding, eliminating, actively eliminating processed foods and refined foods as much as possible from your diet. And if we're going to just think right here, a whole bunch of us just went through a 30-day cleanse and used the cleanse and restore kit. And during the cleanse, committed to certain things they wanted to change in their lifestyle. There's like 155 people in the Pink Moon cleanse. And so people did various things, and those things help us, help our gut. They help us in many ways. They will also help the pineal gland. Foods high in chlorophyll, yes, this really, actually in many ways just relates to lowering inflammation in the body. Cacao, particularly if the cacao is in a form that does not also have refined white sugar in it, is very supportive to the pineal gland, and so is iodine rich, our iodine rich foods. I didn't want to put things in here that said take this supplement, because there are a lot of nuances to taking supplements, and you'll find lists where people say do this, but boron or boric acid is important. And if you're taking good supplementation already, you're probably getting enough. It's also in foods like peaches, but I just included this. Mushroom tea, chaga in particular, consuming turmeric, and Activator X is an old time term from Weston Price Foundation. He felt like we were missing in our modern food basically vitamin K2 and MK4. I'm not going to go into that right now, but we could get into a discussion about it, but I think it would lead us really far away from the point of this particular webinar, and then reducing our exposure to EMFs as well. And this is very, I think, dear to the hearts of many of you on this call. So I mentioned lymphatic drainage. And I'm going to teach lymphatic drainage of the lymph nodes of the head. I'll do one. I'll announce it. It'll be for free. It's something you can implement, learn how to do. It's simple. What I'm going to teach. I'm going to do one on the morning of May 20th, fairly early, and I'll schedule another one at another time than a Saturday, because we're getting into summer and people being gone a lot on the weekends. So look for an announcement about that. So eliminating endocrine disruptors from our lives. That's a huge thing with what we have in doTERRA. What we use to clean our homes, what we use to help detoxify our system and bring our hormones into balance. Taking charge of nervous system balance. We have so much for that. And also meditation or visualization. And right now I'd like to stop talking and take us through a grounding exercise. So if you happen to have an oil that you really love, that you find is grounding, you could use it right now. You don't need to use an oil at all to do this. And what one person finds really grounding, like the grounding blend balance, may not be what another person feels to be grounding. I have a customer who is really grounded by using citrus oils, and she likes to put wild orange on her feet. So this is a time, this will just be a few minutes. If you have something like balance or something you love to use for grounding, go ahead and take a drop or two and rub it into the bottom of both feet. Or if you prefer, you can use it aromatically. Just take a minute to do that. Great place is also on your spine. So you could use it in the base of the skull, on the cervical spine. You can rub it into the spine part of the foot, which is the bony arch of the foot from the inner or the big toe all the way down to the heel. And then get into a place of awareness about how you're sitting. Are you comfortable? Could you be relaxed sitting for a couple of minutes, focusing on breath and connecting with earth energy? Do you have a way to have your spine fairly aligned? Can you feel your feet comfortably reaching the floor or whatever surface they're reaching if you're outdoors? And then just close your eyes. And take a nice deep breath. When you do the exhale, just do it like you just let it go of everything. Take another breath in. And when you exhale, when you let it go, have it be just like a Kleenex tissue, just floating to the ground, just effortless. Now, while maintaining breathing, connect, visualize, or imagine the center of the earth. If you feel that you don't visualize, if you're somebody that can't visualize, just imagine the center of the earth and what that is like. I know when I was in junior high, the center of the earth was described as this hot orange mass of molten lava, magma. And I like to connect with that. You may have something else that really makes you connect with the center of the earth, whatever works for you. Focus your attention there. And imagine that you are bringing the energy from the center of the earth up into the bottom of both feet. And continue to breathe while you're doing this. Allow this energy to come up into the soles of the feet. Bring it past your ankles and begin to pull it up through the lower legs, bringing it up to the knees. As you continue to breathe, bring this energy all the way up the thighs, past the knees, up the thighs. You may be feeling some kind of a tingling or a sensation in your feet. And whatever is happening in this, while we're doing this, don't judge if you are or you are not. And what I want you to do now, continuing to maintain the breath, is locate the very base of the spine, where you're sitting, where the tailbone is. And send a cord or a root or an anchor back to the center of the earth and let that stabilize you. Continuing to breathe. So now you have created a 3-point grounding. You have the center of the earth. You have your feet bringing in earth energy. And you have the base of your spine, all three connected in a circuit. And as you breathe, just feel what this feels like. . open your heart to earth energy. We all need it to heal our bodies. When you are ready, gently bring yourself back to the room you're in and Zoom. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And as you're coming back, I got a chance to focus on the chat because I was stumbling over autophagy, like I was way overthinking it. And intermittent fasting helps us have autophagy. And Josie's comment is great. It's you want, during cleansing, you want autophagy to be happening because it's cleaning up unhealthy metabolic waste. So that was just me having a nervous moment while presenting. And also somebody in the chat talked about foods, healthy foods that are high in oxalates. And I think there's nothing to worry about here because for just reducing highly refined and processed foods is so powerful. That's more powerful than going, well, am I getting enough boron in the list? Let me go back to sharing the screen on that. So there's always a way to get it to work. If there's foods that are not high in oxalates that are going to help you be healthier and help your brain. Omega-3s, I didn't talk about it, are huge every time I look this up. Having omega-3.
Sandra, will you switch the slide? Because we're seeing other ways to support the pineal gland.
Well, I think that I was just, the slide. Okay, got it.
To show us the recommendations again.
All right, because I had them backwards. Right. So the thing about this is I don't know if every single food high in chlorophyll is high in oxalates. I think there are green foods that are not. Turmeric, I don't know if it's high in oxalates, but I know for one thing, every morning I take a drop of turmeric and press it to the roof of my mouth every morning for this very reason about reducing inflammation in the brain. So there's always a way. I'm sorry, these slides are backward. They're kind of backwards. Okay, let me look at where we are with time because we're running out of time. So I want to talk a little bit about this aspect of the pineal gland as being associated with the sixth chakra. And I want to make sure that we have Erin take us through an anointing practice. And I'm going to cut some of this short because I want to make sure we have time for some questions. So remember I said that I went outside of science to look at what is the significance of the pineal gland. Because when you look at the art and the of many cultures, not just Eastern cultures, but many cultures. Years ago, the pineal gland was exalted in art, and it's shaped like a pine cone. That's where it gets its name. They knew about it, and it was in their sacred art, and it was honored. We don't have that anymore, unless we're looking at an older building. So the associated energy center is regarded as a source of inner knowing, our wisdom, accessing our intuition. And I want to include that in this discussion. This is the actual biblical quote on this slide. So, well, there's this thing that's right, there's this little thing that's right in the way that I can't see.
We can see it clear.
The light of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye be one, your whole body shall be full of light. And so there's this knowledge, and it's correlating with what I told you about. The pineal gland is the only one that's not in pairs. The source of, it's associated with a source of our wisdom and our intuition and our deep creativity. And this is the picture on this slide is from the art of Alex Gray, who depicted the energy field and he's just such an incredible artist. So I also want to bring up our essential oils and emotions books. And I don't want to get too heavily into this right now, except that I want to say that the edition that I have has I guess a glossary in the back. And this is what I have to say about intuition and oils and you as an individual. You can go online and you can search, you can look in Modern Essentials, you can look anywhere, and you're going to get many versions of what supports intuition, what supports the pineal gland. Like, they're all right. I'm going to just say they're all correct. And so one of my goals is to encourage everyone to find what works for them. And in a minute, I'm going to have Erin take us through the anointing, but I want to just talk for a minute about what's in this glossary in the back of my edition. Under the word intuitive, it says clary sage, Litsea, blue tansy, and arise. So does that mean if Erin leads us through this thing and we were going to bring our bottle of frankincense that we're blowing it? No, it just means that I went and read Litsea and Arise to see what it had to say. And I learned, wow, maybe I want to try these. And each one is different. Beyond what's listed in this or what you see online, there's also what you find really supports you. And probably the most powerful aspect of supporting your inner knowing and supporting your pineal gland energetically and through aromatic use and honoring of the energy field and all of that is to find what works for you and when and why. So let's see, I'm going to take a look and see what then so just one more thing, and then we'll have Erin take us through the anointing. This is super important to me. This is a really not great quality image, but it's from the book Vibrational Medicine by Richard Gerber. And what I like about it is that it is showing the connection between the chakras or the energy centers and the central nervous system, which is the brain and the spinal cord. And therefore, the nerves that come from the spinal cord and even the organs. It doesn't really delineate the organs, but it's a really good picture of the whole way it's connected. And if we have time, there's another slide where I'll talk about the energy field more. Right now, I would love it if Erin would take charge of the anointing practice.
Sure. Thank you. So the reason I feel so passionate about anointing with essential oils, and do you want to stop the screen share?
Yes, that's a great idea.
Is when I first came to the essential oils, I had lost my connection with God. with the divine. I am a survivor of a spiritually abusive community. And I came to a place in my life where I thought, there's no God, there can't be. And I tried really hard to be in the real world, if you know what I mean. And I found a lot of pain and suffering when I lost my connection to the divine, because I'm a deeply spiritual person. I'm very intuitive, and I have to believe in some sort of divine plan or some sort of divine guidance for my own mental health. It is extremely important to me. What I experienced was, as I started using essential oils, I started having more intuitive experiences. I had things happen where plants started talking to me. I would be sitting out in nature and have this complete connection with plants. The oils started talking to me. I began to have an actual relationship with each oil. Like I would walk past my oil box and frankincense would go, "Hey, can you use me today?" And my relationship with my spirituality became healed. And so I got really curious about why this was happening. I still don't know why. Science can't prove it, as Sandra was talking about. But if you look in spiritual texts, from the Bible to the ancient Vedic texts to ancient Chinese medicine, aromatherapy and essential oils are mentioned over and over again. And the ones that are often talked about are these sacred oils like frankincense and myrrh and sandalwood and cinnamon. In the Bible, there is a holy anointing blend that was given from God to Moses. My gardener's name is Moises, so I always mix it up. Moses. And said, take this anointing blend and give it to your brethren. And when they become anointed, they will remember me. And the word anoint actually means to make holy. So I kind of took this all to mean that if I anoint myself on a daily basis, I am making myself holy, which means I'm remembering who I truly am and my connection to God. So I wanted to show you all what an anointing practice looks like. And I'm going right to the king of all oils, which is frankincense, right? This is the one, the most magical one. So what I do is I put a drop of frankincense in my hand and I start to mix it with my pointer finger. I love just feeling the viscosity and really connecting with that oil for a moment. It's my moment to presence the tree, think about frankincense and how it's grown and how it's harvested and the ancient history. And then I take that oil and I'm going to apply it to my forehead. Now, this is where your third eye is. And your third eye is also the pineal gland, because the pineal gland is actually like a little eye. It's sensitive to light. So that idea of your third eye, that's your pineal gland. So that's also the third eye chakra that Sandra showed. And I'm just thinking of that concept, to anoint. So to take oil and touch it to myself or another is to make me holy. And then I'll take the rest of what's left over in my hand and I'm going to deeply inhale, because now I'm taking those aromatic molecules and getting it up into my limbic system, the olfactory bulb, the pineal, the pituitary, all those glands up there. And with whatever is left over, I'm tuning in to my energy centers and wondering, where do I need the rest of it? And just follow your intuition. I'm being called to my solar plexus. So that's right under the rib cage. And I'm going to let the rest of that oil go there. So that's anointing. And you can do that to yourself and to loved ones with any oil. And it's really just remembering that we have the ability to connect into our higher power, whatever that may be, the universe, God, goddess, the trees, the birds, every day with the help of these aromatic extracts. Okay, I'm going to turn it back to you, Sandra.
Okay. Thank you so much, Erin. I might, let me see what's left. I might stop talking, and I'm trying to get the temperature of the group. I might stop talking so we can just use the rest of the time for. Okay, I'm going to say a couple things, and then I'm going to just change this into discussion for the remaining time, which is not very much. So I just love this so much. I just have to share this. You see this picture, a drawing of a person sitting and meditating, and it has all the chakras in the spine. And this column depicted to the right of the seated figure just has to do with the components of the autonomic nervous system, which was honored in ancient and fully understood in ancient traditions. It's not something that our science came up with, our Western science. So I love this because in terms of supporting the pineal gland, this was a cranial sacral website. I forget which website it was. It talks about the spinal cord as being the glue and the main line of communication between the brain and the rest of the body. And that when we do things that decompress this pathway, we can then begin to restore balance and optimal communication synergistically between the brain and the body. And we're not even going to go over this one. This is so hard for me to read the slide because this thing has appeared that I never have had appear before. So it's just affirming that when we allow ourselves to slip into deeper states of relaxation, and that can be through massage, it can be through meditation, it can be through aroma touch, it can be through symphony of the cells, it can be through cranial sacral therapy, and so on, then our pineal gland is going to benefit and be positively impacted. I'm going to stop the share so that this remaining time that we have, which is very little, I would love for it to be any discussion, anything someone on this call wants to share. I would like to have the remaining minutes of this call be for that reason. Okay, well, we don't have any questions or comments.
I have a question if nobody else has anything they want to share. And you may have said this, but I was stressing out about getting the screen share happening. But for very base level, how would one know that their pineal gland needs attention?
Yeah, I saw that question in the chat. So this is not so obvious, but I'll just bring it up first. If you feel like you cannot really connect with your deep creativity, or if you sit down to meditate and you just feel like you cannot bring the energy down into you, it's very possible that the pineal gland is blocked. In terms of how we feel physically, I mean, it affects our sleep. It's a chicken or the egg. If we're, so we can look to sleep and sleep issues. I did read that if it's calcified, and I couldn't verify this by multiple sources. I did read that if it's calcified, I mean, it affects your having a really good sense of direction. And let me see if there's everybody is subject to the toxins that affect the pineal gland. So I would assume I have another thing to say, Erin. If you start practicing meditation, that alone can start to reverse it, because you're activating it and you're putting your attention on it and you're attempting to use it. So we are all, can we detox fluoride? That's in the chat. This is, let me see if I can still answer Erin's question, then I'll go to that. I'm going to assume that in the life that we lead in this, our society, that I need to detox and that it is impaired. It's pretty active in me because I regularly do psychic work or energy work or meditation that helps me keep it stimulated. And I haven't been taking in fluoride for a very long time. Beth, Contessa Beth, your question about detoxing the fluoride, I think we can, we could definitely improve the health of the pineal gland. And we're supposed to be able to decalcify it. I don't know if we can get it out of our tissues. Josie, Dr. Josie maybe knows more about that. I have read conflicting things when I've tried to look into it.
Yeah, I mean, unless we do brain surgery, it's hard to really know. I mean, we can do MRIs and things, what's happening with the pineal gland, the physical one. I mean, there's the third eye and there's the pineal gland. They're different in the one's physical, one's not. But the pineal gland, I love what Dr. Carew said. You know, we can get fancy and we can go into kind of a lot of the things, but we forget sometimes how much is contained in daily actions and our, you know, like, and what we have in the complexity of the LLV, the greens powder, the fiber powder, and doing Symphony of the Cells, which is, you know, up to 9 different essential oils and blends along the spine. And when you do that consistently, like she's saying, this is helping to support flushing the pineal gland and also, right, all of these things, and using the neurological SOC in your life. You can make up a blend and take it. I have my own, it's not here, it's in the bathroom. I have my neurological blend that I make up every month for my partner and myself, and I take 5 drops under the tongue every morning. Right. And so that's one way. And I'm, you know, always get my tongue up to the roof of the mouth. I have my whole mouth filled with the oils. And it's great to get it on your spine. So sorry, I don't know if but just the things we are doing, know that
it's totally great.
Yeah.
No, this is totally great. That's the thing. We have so much. So if we can use, if we're not getting the sleep that we should be getting and we know it, then there's all that doTERRA has to offer, products and oils, so we can have better sleep. And it includes all this knowledge we've been getting from MetaPower, because the whole blood glucose brain damage situation with spiking blood sugar. So we're all learning a lot more about that right now, or it's more in our awareness. Then to have better sleep, I personally take a capsule, and it works great every evening before bed, of 3 yarrow palm, 3 copaiba, 3 marjoram, and 3 lavender. And I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yep.
I was taking it to lower my blood pressure, and I don't know if it really has lowered it, but my sleep, I do that, and I do the lymphatic drainage, which I will teach you guys, anyone that wants to learn it. It's simple for the head. I started sleeping really well and longer after I did that. Go ahead, Linda.
Is that drops of oils that you're taking?
Drops. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like the Blue Lotus. Of course, I'm rolling that on my skin, and I like the Peace and the Rose. I have all 3 touch versions at my bedside, and different nights I choose different ones. Sometimes I use more than one. I think it's quite nice. I wanted to say, Sandra, I really love the way you talk. the way you roll out the information. It's beautiful. And I haven't heard you before, I don't think.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
And I wasn't trying to be critical about the oxalates. It's just a fact
Oh,
of what's
no.
happened to me. Yeah.
No,
I was having,
that's a really tight parallel parking spot when you have to be navigating the oxalates issue. It's rough. You know, I get it.
It's like I cried on and off the first day, like, what can I eat? Oh, what am I going to eat today? When I found out you can't crash course going on low oxalates, you have to keep taking some of what you have so that your body doesn't have a dramatic response. But it's been a few weeks now in the low oxalate diet. It's hard to eat out. It was our
Raise
wedding
your hand
anniversary.
if it's hard to eat out for lots of us, whether we're dealing with oxalates or not. Every time
Yes.
into a
That's just another
restaurant,
layer.
Yeah, it's like you can't go to Mexican because most of the stuff is GMO. It's like, unless you go to a place that says we're organic and, you know, we don't use, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
And it's so rare to find those places. But here I'm a gluten-free, dairy-free, low oxalate, no mold diet girl.
Yeah.
I just wanted to remind everyone, I think we've talked a lot this call about copaiba, right? In different ways. I use it in my neurological formula. Sandra, you use it in yours. And we just have that gimme this month. So everyone, it's a 200 PV promotion month. So get your free 15 ml bottle of copaiba and copaiba gel caps by ordering 200 PV and your loyalty rewards.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And not
like,
to mention the
got it.
copaiba that goes on my skin along with the other oils each morning.
Oh, well, thank you everyone for a great call today. Thank you, Sandra, for sharing all your wisdom with us. And I love that ease that Dr. Mika is leaving us with, which is like, you're already doing it. If you're on the LLV and you're doing the daily habits and you just did the cleanse, you're doing all the good things for your body. So trust in that. Let's see, next week, we're going to be, what do we have going on next week, Josie? Is that we're going to
It's oils A to Z.
Oh, it is?
It'll be the third Monday.
Oils A to Z. And we don't have Ariana here to tell us what
Do I
she's
have one to
talking
do?
about. I think
I think it's marjoram.
Marjoram, which is such,
Oh,
Super
love
oil.
marjoram.
Yeah.
such a good oil.
So relaxing.
So relaxing. Wonderful, wonderful. So
Right.
come-
Marjoram is in both Aroma Touch blend and Serenity blend.
Yep.
There's a reason.
I put it in a capsule and it's my like little muscle relaxer. I love it.
Yeah.
So good. So come next week with your bottle of marjoram and invite anyone that you know that wants to deepen their understanding of essential oils, because those oil A to Z calls are beautiful. And have a great week. Happy full moon. And we'll talk to everybody next time.
Bye.
Bye.